Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the fourth in our series of Decca mid-price reissues of Benjamin Britten operas. And now we get to, for my money, one of the best of all, Gloriana, in its only complete, wonderful performance, because Britten never did it, with Charles Mackerras, who conducts fabulously, and a really great cast. An absolutely amazing cast. It's with Josephine Barstow as Queen Elizabeth, Philip Langridge as Essex, Della Jones as Lady Essex, Jonathan Summers as Mountjoy, Yvonne Kenny as Lady Rich, Alan Opie as Cecil, Richard Van Allen as Raleigh, Bryn Terfel as Cuff, Willard White is the ballad singer, and John Mark Ainsley is the spirit of the mask. You know, all these Britten operas, you've got to have a spirit of something. You know, you've got like in Death in Venice, you've got, you know, the Bacchus and Apollo and the spirit of, never mind. Anyway, Gloriana is a masterpiece. Still doesn't get performed. I don't understand why. It's really Britten's grandest opera. It's one of, he wrote big ones and little ones. He wrote chamber ones and sizable ones. And the sizable ones are Billy Budd and Peter Grimes and this one and Gloriana. All the others are either chamber orchestra or smaller forces. And this is such a terrific piece. It's beautifully shaped. It's moving. It's passionate. It's powerful. It's got everything going for it. It's got a great story. It's the private lives of Elizabeth and Essex, right? With Betty Davis and Korngold doing the score. I mean, that's sort of the competition. It was a huge bomb when it was premiered. It was written, of course, for the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II, the late Queen Elizabeth II. And I don't know what the audience was expecting. It was a coronation opera. I suppose they expected some sort of mindless musical pageant that would, they could all sort of sit through in a few minutes and then go have a drink or something like that. And it wouldn't get them thinking or doing anything. But this is actually a very thoughtful, probing portrait of Queen Elizabeth I and the tragedy of her having to condemn Essex to death, which she does to the sound of a fabulous crash on the tam-tam. I mean, what's not to love? Britten knew how to get those effects going. The whole thing is 148 minutes and 13 seconds, 2 hours and 28 minutes, which is exactly the same length as the one we talked about, just like in the other video, A Midsummer Night's Dream, which was 148 and 20 seconds. So, this is actually 7 seconds shorter. So it's not that terribly long, but it has wonderful pageant music, which Britten excerpted to have jousting and stuff just in the orchestra. And it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. And the cast can't be better. This used to be on Argo, which is now Decca, of course, because Argo has effectively ceased to exist. And I just think it's a tragedy. Every opera composer, of course, has a major bomb at one point in their lives, and they all react to it differently. Britten reacted to this by really not even trying, I think, to revive it in any sort of major way. I think he gave up a little bit too early. When La Traviata bombed, Verdi just took it in stride and, pretended to revise it a little bit, and he tinkered here and there, and then presented it again with the right cast, and it was just a huge success. I mean, that's often what happens. The same thing was with Madame Butterfly. Madame Butterfly was a catastrophe at its first performance, but Italian composers, I think take these things with they're a little bit more sanguine about it because they're used to Italian audiences and they're used to just cursing at each other and screaming and yelling and going and doing their thing. Whereas I think this being a ceremonial work, a coronation work, something that it was just everything about it was just a terrible, terrible set of circumstances for Britten, and he was better off going on to other projects. But it's a pity. It's a pity he let it go so easily, because this is great. And if you don't know Gloriana, you should hear it. Now the question is, do you get the text? I mean, it's not in here for sure. There is no text, but it does say that the libretto is available online with this CD. Isn't that handy? It'd be nice if they told you where it's available online with this CD. You could look at www.deccaclassics.com/opera. That might do it, but somehow you get it. But the cast couldn't be bettered. Barstow is noble and intelligent and fantastic, and language is great, and it's just wonderful. And Macaris, of course, is Macaris. He never conducted a bad note. So if you are into Britten's operas or you're looking to discover them, do not be put off by the fact that there's only one recording of this and that nobody gave it time of day, and that the what you might have heard about it, the received opinion may be that it's a weak piece. It is none of those things. It is brilliant and fantastic, a wonderful historical opera. It's the Boris Godunov of England, kind of. And it just is wonderful. So keep on listening, friends. Thank you for joining me. Take care.